Hello and good morning, YouTube, and welcome to day 7 of my life without a car. Not that day 6 really mattered because I didn't get out of bed whatsoever on Sunday. I don't know. Does Sunday count? It kind of counts because it took me 4 hours to get home from Osbar. I mostly walked. Yeah, that was quite a journey. Oh, god damn it. Fucking left shoe is untied already. You know, this is a lot less of a hassle, the whole keeping the shoes tied thing when I'm driving. Because I don't notice untied shoes when I'm driving. They're a mammoth pain in the ass when I'm walking. I really wish Velcro shoes would come back into fashion. They were all the rage in the early 80s, and it made my life a little easier for a couple of years. So, anyway, what was I? Oh yeah, journey home after my karaoke show Saturday night. I took off walking, and although it took a long time, the first part of my journey was genuinely pleasant. Walked down Bethany to 15th Avenue, went south on 15th Avenue to, I believe, Georgia Street, and since I noticed it was running at a bit of an angle, I thought it might save me a little bit of walking, so I took that to 13th Avenue, which I took south to Coulter. At that point, I decided that it would probably be more pleasant to walk eastbound on Coulter than any other street, since walking on Strodes late at night is quite unpleasant with the way people drive, and I'm always nervous about reckless drivers mowing me down because they get up on the sidewalk or whatever. That sort of thing happens in the Phoenix area all too often. Also, just seeing everybody driving while I'm stuck walking, and for whatever reason, there's absolutely no buses running. No, there's not anybody that needs buses. No, that's not true. Obviously, there's people going around, or there wouldn't be cars driving. But yeah, no buses. So at least walking down Coulter's pleasant. Just a nice, quiet, somewhat dark residential street. And I kind of took my time, was listening to some stuff on YouTube and stopping every so often to change videos and walking leisurely down Coulter. Eventually I got to Central. Never really noticed the park, Coulter Park, on the north side of Coulter between, I'm not really sure what avenue it started at, but before I got to 7th Avenue. Interesting little park. I've never noticed that one before. Kind of interesting how they have the sidewalk instead of going along the side of the street. It kind of veers and zigzags into the park, which of course makes the walk longer, but it was pleasant, so I used it. Now, at one point there were 2 people standing outside of their car smoking weed. I don't find that to be a terribly unpleasant thing, but it is a little unnerving when you're walking down a sidewalk and there are people that are just loitering next to a car blocking the sidewalk. And to be fair, the one guy did kind of step aside so I could pass through, but it still did give me some anxiety. Now, when I got to Central, very disappointed to see the Circle K was closed. And that's a common thing. A lot of Circle K stores, even though they're allegedly open 24 hours, close in the wee hours of the morning, which is one of the many things that sucks about being a pedestrian during those hours where there's no buses. You're not only forced to walk an extremely long time or wait an extremely long time, but you don't have as many options. Just pop in and get something to eat or get something to drink while you're doing so. Which, not being able to get something to drink is a really bad thing, as hot as it is in Phoenix. That said, it's not hot right now. It feels actually pretty nice. So that's an interesting change. It actually did feel hot Saturday night walking home. So I'm trying to think what all happened. Oh yeah, the Circle K, that was unnerving. Because there was quite a bit of activity in the parking lot involved around vehicles driving very erratic through the parking lots, which made me feel like a target because, of course, the store is on the opposite edge of the little parking lot, and I've got to get past the vehicles driving erratically to get to the sign that tells me that the store isn't open. That was one store that I only worked at once, and it's been a few weeks since I worked there, but I did a cooler, like 4 hours in the cooler. I think it was 4 hours. And the cashier was really, really nice. I'm an older, bigger black woman, but she's really nice. I would love to just like walk in there sometime when she's working and get myself a soda as I'm walking by, but nope. I don't know whether she was there or not. The store was closed. And there's that Vayo vehicle again with all the things in the window. Yeah, there's definitely a Vayo driver living in that car. So I don't know. Every time I see that vehicle, it just reminds me which is better, living with no car or living with no home. And it makes me feel better about the no car thing because at least I have my home. Would that have been better yesterday? It's hard to say. It's hard to say because yesterday was a very, very rough day. It's 4:39 right now. By the way, my bus is at 4:45. And mind you, I'm catching a bus at 4:45 to be to work at a Circle K at 6 o'clock. So an hour and 15 minutes from now. Oh, and I'm getting my times right this time, unlike last Tuesday. An hour and 15 minutes I'm needing for transportation. For what I'm pretty sure would be about a 15-minute drive. I would leave out of here. I would give myself 15 minutes to drive to this Circle K. The Circle K I'm going to is at, so I'll use the beg button. That was unexpected. Yeah, the one I'm going to, and I've never worked at before, it's at Priest and University, which is not far away, driving. Like driving to there, I would probably go down 46th Street to McDowell, turn right at McDowell, turn left at 44th. It's usually, I'd always drive to 44th and then go south, but I found for points south of McDowell, it's easier to go down 46 because I can catch the double left green arrow at I'm trying to remember if there was a little fence here or not. I don't think there was. It's a double left green arrow there at 44th Street, and it seems to get me across the intersection a little bit fast, and if nothing else, it gets me on 44th Street with less traffic on 44th Street rather than waiting for the light to cross McDowell. But yeah, I take 44th Street to the 202 to Priest to Circle K, and pretty sure I'd be there in less than 15 minutes. But it is going to take me 2 bus transfers. And yes, I'm going to have to use the bus to go down Washington because this time of the morning going down Washington, the train only goes westbound. It doesn't go eastbound. I can't make that make sense. It's just how it is. Fortunately, the Route 0 bus does head eastbound on Washington this time of the morning, every 30 minutes, to Priest. It doesn't go any farther than Priest. There's a real gap in the morning that I've noticed, and I never really noticed this before because this time of the morning I was never going to Tempe, but now that I am, there's a real gap in the morning between when the buses start in Phoenix and when the buses start in Tempe and when the light rail starts. I don't understand why those services don't all start at the same time, but they don't. If I needed to go farther on Washington, I would be shit out of luck because past Priest, that's Tempe, and the bus doesn't extend past Priest in the early morning. Buses in Tempe, for some reason, don't start till 6 a.m., give or take, which raises the question, how does one get to work at 6 in the morning if the bus just doesn't even start till 6 in the morning? Is anybody in the city council of Tempe even thinking about that? When people start shifts, especially people that are working class people that aren't making enough money to buy vehicles, start shifts early in the morning. I mean, these people that are driving, I would imagine quite a few of them are going to work. And if they needed to take a bus, it would be fucked. Anyway, I'm not completely fucked. I'm just having to spend an hour and 15 minutes to take a journey that's only a 15-minute drive, which just sucks on every level. Yeah, taking the bus to Priest and then taking the Priest bus south, which for whatever reason doesn't extend north. Like normally I would also have the option of taking Route 3 across and catching the Priest bus over at Van Buren, but for some reason this early in the morning the Priest bus doesn't go north of Washington. But at least I can take this does work. I can take the Washington bus to Priest, catch the Priest bus going south, and then that'll get me to the Circle K on time. I think I'll probably have about a 15-minute window-ish, 10-minute window before I actually have to clock in. Anyway, here's my bus. I'll have plenty of time on the way to work to explain what all happened since last night, or night before last, I should say. The bus stops are always so delightful in the morning. Alright, so I'm just now departing the first bus. It's 4:53 a.m. and usual cast of characters sleeping over here. Seems like the same obese woman that was sleeping there the last time I did a route change at this bus at last Tuesday. A woman going across the street to the north, she got on the bus at McDowell after I did and seemed very angry. Somebody was trying to help her use her phone for the bus fare. There's a thing now where you can use an app on your phone and it makes a QR code and interacts with this new reader that's on the bus, and she was trying to use that and I guess it wasn't working, and somebody tried to help her and she got very angry about it. And I always find it funny when people try to help other people and then the people who are trying, somebody else is trying to do something nice for her get angry about somebody trying to do something nice for them. She got on the bus and then sat down 2 seats in front of me and slammed her phone down on the floor of the bus pretty hard. I'm just thinking, well, my God, why would you use your phone like that? Like, what the fuck did the phone do to you? Looks like there's oh no, I'm thinking I'm seeing a train over there, but that's just a digital sign up on the train station. So as I said earlier, there are trains running this early in the morning, but they're all running westbound. In fact, let me pull up the transit app on my iPhone, make some screenshots so y'all can see what I'm dealing with right now. Although I looked this all up in the wee hours of the morning when I woke up last night, early this morning, probably 2 a.m., just to make sure I had my alarm set and was prepared for this journey. And as I looked up the routes, I was pretty shocked because I thought this would be pretty easy to get to when I booked the shift. I was like, oh yeah, that's simple. Just Route 44, get on the train to the Route 56 and go south. It didn't occur to me that Route 56 would have such poor service that early in the morning going south, and that there would be no trains this time of the morning headed east. But yeah, that's the situation. Give you an idea how the app works. So that's what it looks like when I look at this area. 4 little squares with the bus logo on it. The purple squares, those are the 4 bus stops. And you see the blue dot, that's the bus stop I'm standing by. Oh, and like your typical bus stop, it's somebody sleeping at it. So classy. That's illegal. That violates the law to sleep at a bus stop like that. But the Phoenix police do nothing about it. And as I said, there's trains headed westbound, just none headed eastbound in the direction I'm going to work. The police could go around in the morning and wake these people up and tell them that they can't be sleeping at the bus stops, and could even give them rides to the shelters. But they don't. They just leave them there so the people that have to ride the bus in the morning have nowhere to sit down and wait for the bus. Actually, that's not true. I guess I can sit on Ralphie's face. In fact, I think I will do that. Because, hey, who doesn't want to sit on a ambulance chasing attorney who has annoying advertising's face, right? So anyway, click on the bus logo here. So that's the bus showing up there, the second one at 5:25 a.m. It's scheduled for 5:27. It's probably going to leave 2 minutes early, which could be an inconvenience for somebody trying to transfer to it, but that's what they do. Yeah, the first one going that direction was at 5:15. This one was supposed to be at 5:27, but it's leaving right now at 5:25. Wow. I'm realizing it's... Oh, this is confusing. No, it's... I'm being completely confused. It's 4:58 right now. So apparently I'm not seeing the train that just left. That's not showing on the schedule. It's showing the next one will be at... God, I'm just having no cognizance of how damn early it is. I look over at the screen of the phone that's recording, which is the Motorola, and it actually shows the time, 4:58 a.m. Anyway, and I guess my iPhone does too. I just wasn't looking at that tiny ass text at the top. But yeah, so the next train is scheduled for 5:15 a.m. Then the next train will be at 5:27, but now it's saying it's going to show up early at 5:26. And then the next train after that, also headed for Metro Parkway, so westbound train, 5:42 a.m. So the first train headed east out of here isn't until 5:56 a.m. So yeah, if you have to be to work at 5 or 6 in the morning, tough shit. Oh my gosh, is this my Route 1? Oh no, that's not my Route 1. That's a Route 32 headed south. It always confuses me how that goes down Washington and then turns there. It doesn't make sense to me that the 44 doesn't continue south down 44th Street. Why the Route 32 handles that duty. That's just how it is. And I don't know, maybe one of those persons that was at that bus stop is actually getting on the 32. Everybody else is just loitering, using that as their beds. See, it isn't until 5:56, going back to the screenshot here, it isn't until 5:56 a.m. that the first train heads east. If you work east of here and you have to be to work at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning or hell, even 7 in the morning, and you need to take the train to transfer to a bus and then take that bus to work, you're just shit out of luck. No bus service for the people who have to be to work in the morning. That's pretty crappy. Now, I am able to get to the bus I need to go to. It's taking a long time, but by catching a train here and screenshot this, I am catching the first train in the morning, or sorry, the first Route 1 bus in the morning. And as you see, they only go to Preston, Washington. I'm not sure if the Route 1 goes any farther than that, to be honest. I'm scrolling down, and I'm noticing, yeah, they only go to Preston, Washington. So even though Washington Street continues past Priest and changes names at Mill and becomes Curry Road, and Curry Road continues all the way to McClintock. That's if you're driving. You can drive all the way to McClintock. There's only a bus to Priest. So another fail in my book for transit. Anyway, yeah, I'm catching the first bus scheduled for 5:12 in the morning, but it doesn't show up until 5:15. Running 3 minutes late. God knows how much later it'll be running by the time it actually shows up. But again, yeah, if you got early morning shifts, you don't have a lot of options for early morning buses. And that's why I found it best, for me before when I was taking public transit, to work graveyard shifts. Because working a graveyard shift, there's a bus running in the early evening to get me to work, and depending on what time I get out in the morning, I can usually catch a bus home. But trying to get a bus to work in an early morning shift, very difficult. Still not sure what I'm going to do a week from now on Monday. I kind of outlined my plan on a previous video. I did have another job pop up, offered to me last night, and part of me wanted to take it. It's $20 an hour. It's at a place that I worked at once, but and here's a screenshot from Motorola of when I worked there. As you see, I was scheduled for many more hours than I actually got to work, and I just felt like that supervisor I felt super awkward working with him because he didn't really give me a whole lot of direction. So every time I'd finish what he'd asked me to do, which was never very much work, I'd come back into his office awaiting some further direction, and he would just seem annoyed that I'd come back into his office. But I'd never worked there before, so I don't know what else work needs to be done. What else am I supposed to do? Yeah, that whole situation was awkward. The other guy I was working with was talking about how they needed some people working the graveyard shift to unload trucks, and I'm like, well, I've got experience on a forklift. I'd love to do that. Although one thing I saw them doing with their forklifts that made me very uneasy was it seemed like part of the operating procedure there was to snowplow anywhere from 3 to 5 pallets at a time around the warehouse. And by snowplowing, for those unfamiliar with the concept, that's when you have 4 or 5 pallets that are laying on the ground, and you get behind the one in the back with a forklift, and rather than lifting your pallet up the way you're supposed to operate a forklift and driving it to your destination, you just get behind the pallet in the back and you shove all of them as if you're a snowplow pushing them forward. That's a safety violation at Amazon. I don't know if that's an OSHA safety violation, but it's definitely a safety violation at Amazon, and something that people lost their permissions to operate a forklift over. So when I see that being done at other warehouses as part of their standard procedure, it makes me nervous as fuck. As I'm realizing at that point they're probably going to ask me to do that, and that's something I'm really not comfortable doing after being told all the safety problems that it presents and being told I'll lose my license if I use that technique. So that was another reason I was kind of uncomfortable about maybe trying to take the job there. Oh, look, there goes the SkyTrain. SkyTrain's running on a regular, every 5-minute-ish schedule this time of the morning. But trains, light rail, no, we don't have that. Not here, not now. Because if you drive, this is a great city to be in, as you see plenty of people driving around. But if you're trying to use public transportation and walk to your destination, yeah, fuck you. That's how the government feels about you. And the rest of society, for that matter. So, anyway, yeah, I got a 20-minute wait here. Because that's what I saw. It's looking more like 24 minutes. Now it's showing the bus scheduled for 5:12, not showing up till 5:16. So another 11 minutes till the bus will show up. Meanwhile, that person's still sleeping over there at the bus stop. Fortunately, it's not raining, so I don't need the shelter above me, and there's no sun that I'm trying to avoid. No, looks like there's another 32. Oh no, that's an airport shuttle bus right there. Going from one of the airport parking lots, taking people into the airport, one of the privately owned ones. Should maybe look into a job operating one of those in this area. That'd probably be a lot more enjoyable situation for me than trying to figure out bus transit to different Circle K's every morning and just getting frustrated because I have to get up 2 hours and 10 minutes before my shift to get ready for work when my shift is only a 4-hour long shift. Now, on the bright side, I do have a 2-hour cooler refresh scheduled after this. So I'm working for 4 hours. I got 2 hours to get to the next store, which I've checked the transit schedule. It's probably going to take me most of that 2 hours to get there, in which then I work another 2 hours. After that, I'm off for the day. I'm going to try to see if I can ride the buses back from there. It's at 48th Street in Elliott, and I don't really know the routes over there very much. The most frustrating thing is there's no bus that goes south on 48th Street. So even though 48th Street exists in Phoenix, past the end of the 143 south from Broadway Road all the way into Ahwatukee and through what used to be the Point Resort area. I don't know what that area is called now. I think Arizona Grand. But it does exist through there. It's kind of windy. It's kind of more of a back road, but it does exist. Past Guadalupe Road and then on down to Elliott, which is where I'm working. And then it goes south to, I believe, all the way to south of Chandler Boulevard. There's no bus that goes down that continuously. Now, there is a Route 48, which I was explaining the other day, which goes down 52nd Street to Broadway, takes Broadway across I-10, then it goes down 48th Street, but that only goes to Baseline, at which time it turns and heads east over to Arizona Mills Mall, and the route ends there. There is no bus that goes the rest of the way south on 48th Street, even though the street continues all the way south to, I believe, all the way to Pecos. That's a political thing. That bus that runs along 48th Street, the 2 miles between Broadway and Baseline, I'm pretty sure that's operated by the city of Tempe, which is why it starts at the Tempe Transit Center and goes along Rio Salado to 52nd Street and goes down 52nd Street, which is all through Tempe. And I think that's a big problem with the transit system here, is all the bus routes are kind of dictated and scheduled and run by the individual cities, which is why coordinating stuff, getting from Phoenix to Tempe is so awkward and difficult, because many of the Tempe routes are designed to just loop in on themselves in Tempe, even though the road continues. Like 48th Street, when you go south of Baseline, you're entering Phoenix, and it's Phoenix through Ahwatukee. That's the city of Phoenix the rest of the way. Not helpful for the way normal people, drive down a street, but city of Tempe, heaven forbid their taxes go to help people, in Phoenix, and vice versa, which is kind of whack, because people don't often live and work in the same municipality. It's pretty normal to live in one municipality and work in another municipality here in Phoenix, and it's not unusual for people that live in Phoenix proper to work in a suburb, or to have two jobs in different towns. I mean, my first store today is in Tempe, and the second store today, which is very close by in terms of driving. Like, if I was driving from that store to the next store, I'd be looking at about a 10 to 12 minute drive between those stores, but it's going to take me nearly 2 hours on the bus. Is this my bus? I can't really tell what that is. It's not a bus, though. Oh yeah, we got somebody on a bicycle with no lights on his bicycle. And it's an adult on a bicycle with 20-inch wheels, so that's just always sketch in my book. I was talking more about my journey home last night. Yeah, it was long. It was difficult. It took me 4 hours to get home. I felt like one of the cars in the parking lot of that Circle K at Coulter was actually aiming at me and trying to run me over. And it also looked like they had ditched somebody in that parking lot, because he seemed really upset. And then when they pulled out, they pulled onto Central, went north, and turned right on Coulter, and turned right and came back into the parking lot. So I guess they decided to pick the guy up that they had left there. I don't know, the whole situation was awkward, and they were driving as if they were drunk. I mean, maybe they're just really bad drivers, but the whole scene seemed really awkward. It was super awkward to me as I was trying to walk away from the store that I was disappointed to find was closed, and then suddenly I'm trying to figure out which direction this motor vehicle is going as I'm trying to navigate through the parking lot, because there's no way to walk back to the sidewalk on Coulter without walking through the parking lot from the front of the store. Businesses don't usually bother with the pedestrian route from the sidewalk, because they assume everybody's coming from the parking lot. And yeah, the car was like driving right at me. That was scary as fuck. But yeah, from there I walked down Coulter until I was 1 block away from 7th Street, and kind of went through this neighborhood. And here's a screenshot of that. It's a bizarre shaped neighborhood. Really beautiful houses in that neighborhood, and I just kind of walked down that route there where I put the red line. Walked down that to Camelback, looking at the beautiful houses, which of course I will never be able to afford to buy, and thinking how nice it would be to live in one of them. And walked over to the Gay Denny's there at the northwest corner of 7th Street, and looking to see where my bus is. It's 37th Street right now. 7th Street, Camelback. Saw a very gorgeous black waiter who was making a comment about bouncing, and I'm like, oh, you can start bouncing right now, that'd be great. To which she did, and then made a comment about how dangerous that was with the size of her breasts, which was very distracting to me. That woman was gorgeous. Oh my God. Yeah, kind of the dream for me. Bouncy and beautiful and dark, but yeah, I didn't even get her name, and come to find out she wasn't even my waitress. I ended up getting some dude as I sat down at the bar there at the diner. And to throw out a word about the new so-called value menu at that bus says, "Have a nice day." Pretty sure that's not my bus. I can't see what it says. No, it says 1 Priest Washington. That is my bus. That's weird. Schedule didn't show it being this close yet.